So, welcome to a very special episode of the March Home. I'm super excited to have this wonderful woman, Julie Drexel, joining Amy and I for this episode. Pretty awesome. You see the smile on her face. This woman is having her toes licked by Hero, the service dog. And why?
Hero knows me from before. I was actually, I'm the CEO of Patriot Service Dogs, and that was the organization that raised Hero from a pup to what he is now.
So what's really cool is Hero's my service dog. Remember when you called me up and said you had a dog, and I was like, I don't really need one. You're like, nope, he's going to you.
Yeah.
So this, I'm not going to show you the pictures, but this is like this book right here. It's pretty amazing. So first of all, what prison is it that they're at?
They're at Lowell Correctional, a women's prison in Marion County.
And so Lowell Correctional is a female prison, and these girls, you bring in a ton of stuff. You bring in a ton of stuff, and this is actually like one of the books. So I have a whole entire, what did they call this? Arts and crafts, a scraps book.
Of his training through the entire, from the beginning to the end.
So I really didn't know Hero until the very end, but you have all the photos in here telling the story about him. Just pretty amazing. And you do this, the ladies do this for every single dog that goes through that you train, am I right?
Yes, because usually our outside trainers, if you raise a dog on the outside and you hand it off to a veteran, you have that sort of handover.
Yeah.
And the inmates don't, because they don't get out to hand the dog over. So
Right.
this is kind of what they give, what they pass on.
So they also have a journal.
They do.
And the journal, what's really cool about the journal is something that they've written about like various training things that they've done or things that they need to work on. And when you read through the journal, you start learning the dog just by some of its behaviors.
Yes.
And how to overcome some of the things.
Yes, and when you got Hero, I'm sure there were things you thought, is this Hero or is this me? And if you look back in the journal, you can see he's been doing this since he was a little pup. I mean, some of his silliness. It's actually the reason that I thought you two would be a really good pair.
My dog is not silly. My dog is not silly.
I did not. I've not really been hands-on saying this dog needs to go to this person, except for Hero. It was the only one.
Like his eye rolling.
Yes, and that he's easily distracted. That he's easily distracted, but also very calming. Like he will force you to be calm, but he's also super silly and so easily distracted that it just reminded me, and I thought it was either going to work brilliantly or it was going to be a complete disaster.
Bust, right?
Yes.
And there's some times that it works really brilliantly, and there's sometimes it's a complete disaster.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But Brian was kind enough when you got the dog to come into prison, and you've actually been the only person to do that as well, so that Brian was able to meet the inmate who raised Hero and actually get some training tips and
That's awesome.
Yes.
And what an amazing woman she is. So,
she really is.
So this is one thing that I've really loved about your program. So some of these ladies, they've come in and they have a lot of difficulties that they're facing in life.
Right.
For whatever reason that they wound up at a federal prison, right?
State
prison. Whatever reason they landed at a state prison, they have various things that they carry with them. And some of their stories are heart-wrenching.
They are.
They are absolutely heart-wrenching. Some of it,
Yes.
it's just like, hey, you know what? They made one stupid mistake. Next thing you know, they're in jail.
Right.
And I can only imagine the ladies there get a lot from these guys while they're being trained. Am I right?
Yes, and
It's
as
very
you can
therapeutic,
testify to,
probably.
yeah. When you go into prison, it's very sterile. It's not, kindness is not rampant in prison. And so you have these dogs, and they live in just the dorm that you were at. They live in Charlie dorm, but they're on the whole work camp, and we are throughout the whole prison, and it really does settle everybody. Just having the dogs run around and having them.
therapy
It is,
for them.
and it makes it seem less scary. I mean, it isn't as like you think of a prison. It's a little bit less frightening than that. But having the dogs there allows them to be moms to a dog, and it allows them to show some compassion. So I think it does help them get through that part of prison a little easier.
So this whole program, so Patriot Service Dogs is who we're really talking about right now. When you started Patriot Service Dogs, did you know you were going to be inside a prison training these dogs?
No, I never ever saw myself inside a prison.
So I've seen her go to the prison. I've been up there a few times, and she's in prison quite a bit, folks. She might look sweet and innocent, but she's there all the time.
Yes.
So you're almost like the mother hen.
Yeah, I try not to be. I try and be a leader through example and let them see that all things are possible.
Right.
But it's hard to not mother. Many of them are very young. And my own kid's age. So it's hard to not mother. But what we really concentrate on in the prison is helping them become aware of that they can take responsibility and that they can do good things.
Right.
And we've had parents say to their daughters, this is the first time I've been proud of you. And the daughters have sent home pictures of the dog that they're raising to their kids, and their kids are proud of them. Their kids take their picture to school and say, this is what my mom's doing.
How
Yeah.
can you
She's
not? How can
raising-
you
I
not
know.
get a little
I
choked up
know.
when you hear
it
those
really
things?
is. It is amazing. And they are so proud. And they say, I haven't done a whole lot to be proud of. I mean, his mom, that was not the situation. But for many of them, they've had a life of being in prison.
Right.
And this is the first time they've ever thought about giving back.
Yeah.
And it's the first time they've ever thought of anyone but themselves. And they say, oh, it's this program. All they need is a little nudge in the right
Yes.
direction, and they take off on their own.
It's just an example of what they can do going
Exactly.
forward.
And
Right.
honestly, from that love that they're able to provide these dogs, the way they do it, I can tell you, Hero's been unbelievable for me. Did I ever tell you what happened when I had a nightmare after getting him?
No.
It wasn't really a nightmare. It was a dream. I woke up and I was just in Afghanistan on a patrol. Nothing major, but I just couldn't settle down to go back to sleep. So Hero was trained not to jump on furniture.
Right.
You didn't have him very long.
I didn't have him very long. So he
this
jumped up. I could have sworn I told you the story. He jumped onto the bed, and I have told you the
Yes,
story.
you have.
So he jumped onto the bed, and I kept my eyes closed. I didn't open up my eyes. I kept my eyes closed, and I felt his cheek go against mine. And as I felt his cheek go against mine, at first I thought he was just a chick magnet.
Right.
But then
Right.
I realized really quickly he was much more than that. I felt his cheek go against mine, and I started thinking about this relationship, this bond that him and I started to form. And I started becoming aware of that emotional growth that I was having with him and that short period of time that I had him. And I kept on thinking through this. The images of Afghanistan started going further and further away. And finally I opened up my eyes. And Hero's, yeah, we're talking about you, big guy. It wasn't Hero's cheek against mine. He was standing over me. It was his paw. He was just watching me calm down.
Yeah.
Absolutely
That's
amazing.
amazing.
And I don't think he was trained on that, but
No.
it was almost instinctual
Yeah,
for him.
it's amazing because he
Gives
was
me
given to
goosebumps.
you to help you settle yourself, but he's never going to be settled unless you are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a group thing because his job isn't done and he can't relax until you're calm.
And so
You're
if you
right.
see Hero
I've seen
sleeping
that.
19, 20 hours a day, you can know that I'm pretty relaxed.
He's got it. They're doing
It
good.
happens a
yes.
lot.
We actually had a Vietnam vet get one of our dogs, and he had had night terrors since Vietnam. His wife had slept in a different room. He had broken windows and
Sure.
lamps.
Oh, wow.
The dog, within a week, woke him up from a night terror. And within a few months, he no longer needed sleep medicine. And because he didn't take sleep medicine, he didn't need whatever you take to stay awake. And he was very depressed because of these night terrors and this divide it had put between him and his marriage. So he didn't need his depression medicine, all because the dog woke him up.
Wow.
And that isn't, like you say, that isn't even something we train for, but it is
No.
amazing that one little thing changed everything.
Just that comfort that the
That's
dog
right.
brought.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing that Hero's actually done for me is when I'm in places where it's like overstimulation, when there's too many things for me to focus on. And, that's when Hero really comes closer. He puts his head on my leg. He starts making me aware of him.
Right.
And if I just turn to him and start focusing on him for a couple minutes, all that outside noise just kind of
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, it is amazing what he, just by his presence, does. I mean, we train them on 85 different tasks, turning on lights, opening cabinets,
Yeah.
taking off shoes. Not that I expect that he knows any of those anymore, but he,
Oh man,
Some of them.
he's so listen. I'm always training people how to interact with a service dog. So I always do a little performance for
Right.
them with what Hero's capabilities are.
So he kind of keeps up on
Oh,
So
good.
he keeps up
Good.
on those, and honestly, if I throw out my back, it's awesome that he can go and fetch my shoes and brace
he's
and all that
brace
stuff.
and all
yeah.
those things.
Yes.
We train them on a lot of different things, but it seems like it's their presence and their ability to sense what you need.
Their instincts.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's all. I mean, that we don't train.
Yeah.
You know, we train for a lot of things, but that just comes naturally.
And
you
that's
have to
also how
bond
you're
with them.
selective with these dogs too.
Yeah.
The ones that you choose that you're
Yeah.
going to train to be service dogs. You guys, Patriot Service Dogs, is pretty selective on them, right?
Well, certainly not all of our dogs make it. To get a dog into the program, we have to have 3 years hip size and elbows, 3 generations back.
Yep.
Okay.
So we know that they're pretty good, solid.
Yeah.
But even then, not all dogs want to be a service dog. And we
Mm-hmm.
pick out an 8-week-old puppy and say, this guy's great, and isn't it
Yeah.
adorable? I pick adorable.
Yeah.
And we think this is so great, but they may not want to be that.
Yeah, the
and they
dog
may
might-
not have enough confidence in themselves to be confident for you.
Right.
So it doesn't always work. We release almost half.
Oh, wow.
We
Wow.
release.
Yeah.
So it's
So
a
that's
long
pretty strict
process.
to really pick
yeah.
through the
So,
ones.
so when guys are wanting a service dog, and
Mm-hmm.
one thing you've always suggested, and this is something I'll tell you, Patriot Service Dogs is absolutely amazing. Sign up for them. They can sign up at your website, right?
Absolutely.
PatriotServiceDogs.org.
.org. Okay.
But then there's
Apply everywhere.
but apply everywhere, exactly. There's Southeastern Guide Dogs,
Right.
there's Valor
Valor.
Service Dogs,
Yep.
Canine Partners for Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriot Service Dogs, though, is my first love.
Yeah,
It really
we
is.
don't charge for a dog, so what we want is for you to get the benefit of a dog, and if that's from us, that's fantastic, and I would love more people to apply.
Right.
But if you find a dog quicker through another organization, that's what we want. We
Yeah.
want you to get the help.
Right.
And the right
So,
fit for you.
Right.
And
we
dogs are
can-
available about how frequently? Once a year, twice a year?
We put dogs in constantly. So I just last week put a new puppy in, and it's actually from a person that you connected me to. So we just put
Oh,
a new
nice.
puppy in, Blue.
Awesome.
So we start puppies all the time because
Right.
if they fail out, I don't want to not have anybody for years. So we're
Right.
constantly putting them in
Trying to
about
put
every
them in.
3 months.
Okay.
So again, that website's patriotservicedogs.org. And Julie, I am so thankful that you took this drive down here to be on the show. I really appreciate you. And I told you,
you.
this isn't hard for us to sit here and talk
No,
for a
it
couple
isn't at
minutes.
all. No, absolutely.
So that goes for all you other people who want to be on the show. Stay tuned because we have a sorority that's coming up next. Amy's going to do a wardrobe change. You guys are going to love it to hear about the Steel Mags.
Thank you.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Welcome to Raceface Brand Development. You might be asking, what is Raceface Brand Development? We are all about helping young drivers get noticed while creating a brand. If your branding isn't part of your strategy and you're looking for a competitive advantage in the marketplace, I encourage you to reach out to us at Raceface Brand Development and let us provide you a free consultation on how we can help further your driver's career.
81% of consumers search online before even setting foot in a store. We help you create a strong foundation for your digital reputation. We help build your online presence to improve search engine rank and make sure your business information is correct across the web. You could do all of this on your own, but why would you spend more than 300 hours a year working on this? You have a business to run. Save time and put our software to work for you.
So like I said, I've got a sorority up here with me, and these amazing women just went through a little sorority, girl. Crazy, crazy folks. So Tears is with us from the Steel Mags, and Amy is a new member of the Steel Mags. You're a little bit more familiar with it. Ladies, what are the Steel Mags? What is it, Tears?
Well, the Steel Mags, they are a group of women who
spouses or significant others
Of Green Berets, of our special operations guys.
So
And
we
you-
support them, right?
Yes, we support them, but there are qualifications in order to be a Steel Mag.
Right.
So you can be a spouse of an active duty soldier. You can be a widow of a soldier who was killed in action. And when I
Yeah.
say soldier, I mean Green Beret.
Yeah.
You can be a mother, or you can be a sister, or you can actually even be a daughter as long as you're above the age of 18.
That's right.
So one of the most amazing things that the Veterans Alternative has ever done in our whole entire existence was host a retreat or a summit for the Steel Mags this past week at St. Leo University.
We had an awesome time.
It was a
Holy
blast.
cow.
We left with some battle wounds, but we all left with some nice
Scars and
Oh, from
Battle
Tree
Wounds.
Hoppers, you went
Yes.
they went and did the ropes course.
It was,
That's
it was
what it
almost
was.
like a team building event. We had a
Oh,
really
so
great
much
time.
fun.
We, worked over some fears between all of us, which was, we didn't know they were fears till we got, 3 stories up in
Oh,
the top of
right.
the tree and had to jump
Sure.
on a baylay down and
just jump. You're
just-
fine.
yeah,
just
it'll
jump
catch
off
you.
the edge.
So,
have faith.
so I had 2 pictures that were sent to me of Amy on the course. One of them, she looked like Laura Croft or something, like this just.
The Tomb
I saw-
Raider,
She was like my
yes.
Sarah Connor with her sunglasses on. And then the other one is when she jumped off and she was so scared. She was like, "Is it gonna catch me?" And then she jumps off and it's like,
I'm
And
not
then I'm
gonna
like,
lie.
oh.
I had
And then
some
it catches, and you're like, oh, that's okay.
severe
hilarious.
anxiety jumping off that treetop.
It was. You have
intimidating.
to trust. You
So-
really have to trust your equipment.
Trust
Yeah.
your equipment and trust your team. We
Mm-hmm.
had teams, and you help each other and you rely on each other to get through those obstacles. So
It was awesome. It
totally
really
a
was.
team building event. It
yeah.
was great.
Some of the things that I've noticed since I got out, I guess I was never focused on it before because I was active duty, but now coming out, I've seen all of these groups of the spouses of Green Berets that keep on coming together and support really everything that's going on. You ladies do a lot. You've
do a
been
lot.
a Green Beret spouse for a long time. You've had a guy who's walked all the way
15
through.
years.
15 years.
And he's still active.
Yep.
He's here at SOCOM, so who knows what our next chapter will be, but for the next 2 years, we're here and enjoying Tampa. But you're right, there's a lot of cohesiveness between the spouses. Nobody understands us better than our other mags.
Right.
I mean, they've weathered the same storms that we've gone through. They have the experience, even transitioning out of the military. We have mags who have retired husbands. We have some that are medically retired. They're going to know those loopholes at the VA better
Yeah.
than anyone else.
Right.
And who better to do that than your fellow mag to help you through
And
it.
we're all there to talk to one another, help each other when one's down or one
Absolutely.
needs that extra help. So that's
This woman was
awesome.
just giddy when she came home. She had like these little
It's
charms.
empowering.
All these
Yes,
little
yes,
charms, all these
our-
little bracelets. Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
empowering. And that's,
really
I think,
is.
what we're all about is empowering each other. No matter what your trial is, we like to be able to help each other out.
being there for one another and supporting. And we actually have a friend of ours, a Green Beret spouse, going to be staying with us. And her husband's deployed.
She's actually
But
a Steel Mag, is what she
Yeah,
told me.
she is. She is.
Yeah, she's coming in today, this
She's coming
afternoon.
in today, stay for a week. So we'll have them
Awesome.
there, and I'm going to be like, yeah.
She's actually coming down to visit one
Is
of.
she from 7th Group?
She's from
Yes.
7th Group, so she's coming down to
Fantastic.
visit, one of my buddies who's injured, and she gets to spend a little bit of time with him. So that's extremely exciting. There's so much dedication amongst you women's, and one of the things that I heard Jen Paquette, the founder of Green Beret Foundation and the
And the
executive
Steel
director,
Mags.
Yes.
She's
and the
also
founder
the
of
founder of
Steel
Steel Mags as well.
But she found Steel Mags about the same exact time that she was finding the
did.
Green Beret Foundation.
Well, because there was no organization like this. There is nobody who understands it like those who belong to it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's critical needs that are not met. There are gaps that are, nobody knows until you go through it. So, again, having those sister mags that have that experience is really, there's no word for it.
Yeah, and so the Green Beret Foundation, I have to say this, it was absolutely amazing. I had a few teammates who came in that were injured from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And we got to Walter Reed the day after they showed up.
Right.
Remember this?
Yep. Yes.
We got to Walter Reed the day after they showed up, and their families are already flown in.
They already had.
They already had rooms to stay in.
liaisons.
They had liaison. And the Green Beret Foundation was a central part of all
Absolutely.
of that.
Transportation, flying the families
Absolutely.
in, getting them places to stay.
They
yeah.
were really involved with all of that. I mean, just an amazing group of people.
We like to take care of our own.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And if it's not something that we do internally at the Green Beret Foundation or Steel Mags, we will absolutely find that resource to marry it up with the service needed.
That's what's really awesome. Yeah.
So the Steel Mags, you guys had this retreat, and I know a little bit about it. Just
Because you kind of
Veterans
planned
Alternative
there.
hosted it.
That's right.
So we did 3 sessions of accelerated resolution therapy,
We
Right.
did.
3 sessions of integrative restoration or iRest yoga.
Wonderful.
Did you enjoy those?
Absolutely loved them. Allison was our instructor for the IRES therapy, and she was phenomenal.
Oh.
I know some of the ladies were like, "Can Allison come home and put me
I
to
know,
bed at night?"
everybody
Because
wanted
it was
her there.
So therapeutic.
Just so you
Honest
know,
to
if you
God.
live local to the Veterans Alternative, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we have iRest sessions every single week, and during retreat weeks, we have it every single day. So amazing, amazing practice.
Good work.
They say it's
Very good
20
work.
minutes is equal to 2 hours of REM.
It was wonderful. I went home and pretty much showed my testimony with my husband. I was like, "You've got to try this.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely got to try this." So hopefully they can incorporate that into the SOCOM network there. And
Oh, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
I'm hoping that's happened.
Yeah.
So what's next for, this is your very first summit for the
Yes.
Steel Mags. This is the first time
It was.
all
It was
of you
our
ladies.
inaugural summit.
We had
Absolutely.
planning sessions, and it was pretty cool.
So was this hilarious? Because all of you ladies knew each other for so long, and you were coming up, oh, and you were hugging and meeting in person
Because
for
we
the very
only
first
really
time.
knew each other online, right?
Well,
Mostly.
I knew probably
knew a
about 4
couple.
women from
Yeah.
prior. Obviously, because we just PCS here, so we left one installation, and then I met a couple ladies here when we
Right.
got here.
Yep.
So I knew a few of them. However, that's just it. The camaraderie between the mags.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you walk into an installation somewhere, and there's another Green Beret sitting there.
Yep.
You got
you
a
know
bond.
what? You have that bond. You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
Same kind of
that
feeling.
brotherhood. We have that
Welcoming.
sisterhood.
So I got to ask this question. If I meet another Green Beret from a different group, like they come from 5th group or 1st group, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's my first response all the time.
We're going to have to
So-
start saying
yes,
that when
it's out-
we meet.
Do you do that for the Steel Mags
Absolutely.
as well? Is they're like, oh, 7th group's the
Sorry.
best, or 8, you know.
Tampa chapter's the best. Sorry. Sorry, you're in another chapter, but
I don't think so. Not yet. We're not
no,
there
we
yet.
haven't.
I
We
think-
might have to copy you just for fun.
So-
It all in jest.
It's always fun. It's always fun. It's the competitive portion of being inside the military. It's consistent for the guys, at least. The
There
Green
is
Berets.
the competitive portion of, fundraising.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of our organization. We'd like to give back to the local communities, our SF communities.
Right.
We're big on supporting our families, but these other two are total pillars in what we are about. If we can't give back to our SF community or the local community, then
And when you say that, like when we just went back to the example, in order for them to support the guys at Walter Reed, the Green Beret Foundation needs funds. And
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we said this clear enough, but the Steel Mags is a function of the Green Beret Foundation.
it is. It is absolutely. It is an organization that was built from Green Beret Foundation. It is essentially there just to help the families.
Right.
So
What an amazing program. So what's next? What are you ladies, after this summit, I know you had a planning session.
Yeah.
And I think that you're probably
did.
still trying to get your head around the planning session.
really, I think that's our next thing is we want to get out into our local community and we want to
Okay.
be able to help in some way. So we're looking for places that would like the Steel Mags to come out and represent our organization
And kind of increase our visibility
Absolutely.
and the community knowledge of what we are
Absolutely.
and what we do. Yeah.
I've got a place that you can go to right here in the Tampa Bay chapter.
Yep.
We've got a parade November 10th and 11th. It's
I'm
gonna be
already in the
amazing.
works. We're
I
talking
have
about
already
it.
signed up as interested.
Yep.
Amy even liked my post, so
We
we're there.
We should have
are
we should
there.
be having a big meeting here in the next couple of weeks to
Yeah.
bring all the key players in and start talking
We're
about
there.
that. And
That
you know,
would be awesome to have us present for that, definitely.
and you know, the whole thing there is that with the parade, our whole entire goal is to, first of all, show the love and admiration we have for our military and veteran population.
Absolutely.
Thank them for their service,
Right.
and then be able to display the many great organizations that we have inside our community, because it
Absolutely.
really does take a tribe.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's one of the things we went away from this. This is my tribe.
Yep.
Identifying your tribe and what it can do for others is huge.
Yeah.
So
And that's what Jen kept talking about too, is like, you all are my people when we were
Yes.
all together, and she was having such a great time along as we were as well.
We got to thank Sebastian Unger for writing the book Tribe.
Oh, yeah.
Have you read that? Because
I haven't.
Oh,
I will
man.
add it to my Goodreads.
You got to read that. That's a book for all you in the audience. Tribe by Sebastian Unger. He's the one that did Restrepo. Absolutely amazing. And it talks about that bond and how
Yeah.
necessary it is for that bond within communities. So I got to tell you, I'm absolutely thankful that you were able to join us here.
Thanks for having me.
The Still Mags is a wonderful, wonderful sorority, and I saw so much from the ladies that were there. So I appreciate you coming out for the show, and we look forward to working with you a lot more in the future.
And what would be our website then? We have Green Beret
We have
Foundation.
greenberetfoundation.org, and there's also a link there that will link you over. But if you don't find it, it's stillmags.org as well.
Yes. Awesome.
Stillmags.org, Green Beret Foundation, great organizations to support. Make sure you look those guys up, find out a little bit more information about them. And honestly, this is right here one of my favorite shows already, because I had Julie with Hero, and then I have the Still Mags here. Unbelievably great show. I hope you guys stay tuned and see us next week on the March Home.
Yes.